This material world is a very lonely place for everyone. The bodily platform of life, make this nice and loud.
Yeah, got it.
That because we're all under the impression that we're this body, then our whole standard of happiness and interaction and atmosphere and everything is based on what this body and mind can accomplish. And because we're part and parcel of the unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and our relationship and facility is based on the internal, unlimited, ever new variegated Ladini Shakti, pleasure-giving potency. And because that's nowhere to be found in this material world, we're going to be frustrated and unhappy. And even that which seems to be happiness for the present amount of time, it will actually lead to the greatest amount of distress later on. Say you really love somebody, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your daughter, your son, your best friend, this and that. The laws of nature and time will break that association. And because there's no knowledge in the material world, it's a place of ignorance. You don't know where your beloved one went. There's no guarantee, there's no concrete information of where they went and if and how and ever you'll be able to cross over this insurmountable ocean of time and space to reunite with them again. So people are in great lamentation, and plus your own lifespan is very limited, and the so-called, pleasure of being a young person, you have some attractiveness or handsomeness, that's all taken away in due course of time. And because you haven't, in the material world, there's no transcendental knowledge of Sambandha Tattva Gyan, the knowledge of your eternal identity and relationship with Krishna, which is ever youthful, ever beautiful, and filled with all good qualities, no ulterior motives, and no sinister demoniac things lurking underneath, then what course do you have? So Krishna is always very concerned for us. We somehow or another come into this material world by our own misuse of free will and choice. So he comes again and again personally. He comes himself and he dispatches saintly persons after saintly persons. And their impact is so great that from their point of view, Krishna comes once in a day of Lord Brahma. Imagine that your son or daughter, your baby is lost or kidnapped. You're going to go to the police station, you're going to go every single day. You got any news, you got any information? What to speak of 3 or 4 times a day. So Krishna comes every day. But that day, according to our time span, is millions and billions of years. But the impact of Krishna coming, even though by our calculation it's such a long time, the impact that he makes on this planet and the knowledge that the Bhagavad Gita that he left behind is non-different than him personally speaking it to you right now by reading it as it was when it was spoken to Arjuna. So, and especially in this age, this is the most glorious of all ages, seemingly. By contrast, it's the worst of ages, Kali Yuga. Lifespan is lost, the demoniac seem to have the upper hand over the good people. They've put a stranglehold on the economy, the government, the media. It's a nightmare. But Krishna has come in the form of his holy name, this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So we all experienced something these last few hours. How many of us were here today at peak? I mean, active, voluntary participants, 30, 35, 40. And this is the subway station, okay? What a powerful sound that makes. It's not sound, it's the incarnate. God is incarnating in this sound. This is Harinam Sankirtan. We just observed the great appearance day of Narottam Das Thakur, who Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Krishna personally felt satisfied that after he would depart the planet in his incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the full manifestation of his love would be manifest in this personality. This is disciplic succession. This is not only the great facility that we have to become initiated disciples in this Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Rupanuga Prabhupada Nuga Sampradaya, but responsibility that we should somehow or another become qualified to be holders, recipients, distributors of this great facility to satisfy everybody, back to what I was saying in the beginning, to find the answer to that loneliness. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, the association of the Lord's devotees who are engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord, which in this Kali Yuga especially is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. I just read in the 22nd chapter of the 4th canto, that's Maharaj Prithu's Meetings with the Four Kumaras, verse number 16, that the karmis' idea of happiness and their process is karmic activities to achieve sensual gratification in this material world, and the highest aim that they have is to go to heaven and enjoy, sensual delights, but on a much more highly refined and dignified and elegant and prolonged, platform. But it's still in the same realm. The Jnani's idea is to become one with God. Is some like imagined idea of spiritual oneness. That is their process. But the devotees' process to achieve the highest attainment of prema bhakti is to spread the holy name all over the world. When I read that, it just kind of hit me like, wow. So this is the means and the ends how to do that. And I had the very good fortune to meet such a personality as His Grace Hg Prabhu. Hg Prabhu would chide me that I joined in 78 and I couldn't be a Prabhupada disciple, It's like, better luck next time, kid, Close but no Balaram cigar. And he would come on, And he would point out the advantages of, anyway, that's a more confidential discussion. But we did meet him, and such a powerful personality, and here we are 15 years after his departure, and we see just what he accomplished and how it's expanding more and more and more, because he lived and died fixed and one-pointed on the right thing. So I'm engaging my rough New York street fighting man kind of abilities to do this thing. You can say it's my birthday, but my real birthday is on March 25th when I'll become a teenager. I'm going to become 13 years old. So I mean, thank you, but that's more meaningful anyway. So the New York Harinam is 13 years at this point, and we have Jai Gaur Chand Prabhu, who is very seriously reminding me what I thought at the beginning, but through all the twists and turns and lefts and rights and ups and downs, it's in the background, but his associations bring it back to the forefront, that our goal is to do what? 24 hours a day! New York City. When Prabhupada was asked the viability or the would it be a good idea to have 24-hour kirtan in all the ISKCON temples all over the world? And Prabhupada gave a 2-word response. Why not? God. And Prabhupada said at a different time that if the demons got the upper hand and in World War III and blah, 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 and the whole movement was closed and shut down, if just the 24-hour kirtan was to continue in Vrindavan, and he said Mayapur, somehow they haven't been able to get that really together on a, whatever. That would be enough to keep the movement alive, and it would regenerate again powerfully. Just like great personalities like Jagannath Das Babaji, Gorkasor, they kept it within themselves and then later like that. So I think I would be lauded, or let's say, here to this, that we should add New York City to that list. Yes. And they have 24-hour kirtan in Prabhupada's Bhajan Kutir in Mayapur? Yes. Okay, so we could get second place letter B or something. If not third place, arguably. So that is the ultimate goal, and really the secret to success, it's very, very simple, is that we should live our life in such a way that we can help others. And the best way to do that is to let them come in contact with the Sankirtan movement. And New York is such a pet. How many people walk past us just here in this spot in the last 4 or 5 hours? We should have get a machine, like a light thing, and when they go through it, it clicks a number or something. Probably something like 75, 30, I think more than that. If you just sit here and just try to count people for like 5 minutes, you'd probably have a number well over 1,000, So And imagine one day, this thought came to me, and I don't think it's too far off the wall, that one day in the course of eternity, everybody's going to go back home, back to Godhead. And all these people who are walking past, you know, in various states of appreciation, non-appreciation, oblivion or whatnot, they're going to come up to you in their spiritual body, and they're going to recognize and remember you and say, thank you very much for being in that Times Square subway on the 14th of February, 2025. Thank you very much. So we can make the conclusion of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Krishna's happiness in embracing Gopakumar, multiplied unlimitedly. We can say Brihad Bhagavatamrita conclusion on steroids. So I thank you all very much for coming out here to give some love to this withered soul here. Sometimes it becomes kind of a lonely thing here, you know. I lived in Vrindavan for 12 years because of Indra's magnetism, and we miss him a lot. And it's been a lot of sacrifice, hardship, and a lot of intense things that have happened these last 13 years, but the happiness is knowing that we're doing the right thing and that it is having an effect that we can perceive. And Shreya Karaiva Chandrikaranam Shreyas, the long-term benefit, may be beyond our ability to perceive or even see, even in this lifetime. A devotee is detached from all fame. Krishna says, one who is equal in happiness and distress, heat and cold, is one of the longest, coldest winters I've had in the last few years. You know, snow 10 feet deep the ground. Woo! Well, it didn't snow very much, but it's cold. This would be a good time to go look at 72nd Street, by the way, when Prabhupada was walking back and forth in this weather. Get a little taste, get a little feeling for that. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
Honor and dishonor.
Yes, heat and cold, honor and dishonor, praise and blame. That's a good one. People praise you and people blame you. Oh, it's the same thing, you know? So, one who's equal in that and just keeps on preaching Krishna's glories, you become the most dear servant to Krishna. And whether you know it or not, is a statement in the third canto purport. The devotee from his side, look at Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Can anybody emulate this? If somebody, like, here's a birthday cake with my name on it. Oh, wow, isn't that so nice? But he said, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, if anybody hears my name or speaks my name, they lose all the results of their pious activities. I'm so sinful. And he's actually thinking like that. Amazing. So, if we live and we die for the cause of Lord Chaitanya, this is all perfection. And Krishna said the devotee from his side thinks he's not at all fit to go back home, back to Godhead, but repeated birth and death so many times is what he should be looking forward to. But the Lord, without the devotee's knowledge, makes all arrangements to bring him back home, back to Godhead, just after leaving this present body. And I can say, who knows what is the 6th verse of Sad Goswami Astakam? Sankhya Purvaka. What is Sankhya? Numerical strength, right? You feel better if you chant 16 rounds as opposed to 4 rounds. What's to speak if you chant 32 rounds as opposed to 16 rounds? Or what to speak if you chant 64 rounds as opposed to 32 rounds? And what to speak if you could chant 108 or 128 rounds as opposed to... You can feel the difference, right? So the time in our life, I think there's some pop song, this was the time of our life, something like that. So the time of our life, if we use it to accumulate so many people hearing the holy name and getting books and becoming devotees, that is taken as something feasible and tangible. And that's what it means to give your life to Krishna. Not like, I'm giving my life to Krishna. And then you stay that, and then you walk away and you do something else. But, you know, you actually give the amount of breaths, give the time that you have in this life to do this, and you will feel that satisfaction. You'll feel that you did the right thing, and you'll have no regret when you become old. You won't feel, you know, wow, you know, I missed the boat, or my desires are unfulfilled, and we won't be lonely anymore. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We all would not be here today if it wasn't for Ayendra. That's for sure. Actually, if Ayendra was still here, I'd probably still be in Vrindavan, and we'd be doing we were carrying on. So it took him to go back home. Well, his going back home, back to Godhead, what he did, accomplished lots of things. But the feeling of separation, you know, that materially something, that, of all the types of distress and unhappiness, what is the great? It's separation from the devotee. So I'm just kind of like burying myself alive here in that feeling of separation and loss by just doing this. Otherwise, you know, like in the we just read about Sati leaving her body, and Lord Shiva's attendants couldn't prevent it, so therefore they were preparing to attack Daksha and the other you know, people who were backing them up. The Prabhupada says, it's the duty of servants to protect the master, and in the case of failure, it is their duty to die. Then later in the fourth canto, when Queen Vidarbhi is putting her husband, King Malayadvaja, who just left his body, to the funeral pyre, it's likened unto the disciple crying when the spiritual master leaves, that the disciple should take charge of the spiritual master's mission and execute it properly, otherwise he should die with the spiritual master. So, these are some thoughts. Hare Krishna. And Ayendra Prabhu gives all credit to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, in his 11, 12 years present, accomplished many things and attracted many incredible personalities to adhere to his mission and to surrender their life to their service. So rest assured, by helping the Harinam Sankirtan effort, that you will be pleasing all the devotees, Srila Prabhupada, and get the full mercy of Lord Jesus. Hare Krishna. Can I ask who is the artist here who did this?
Chinmay Radha.
Chinmay Radha.
She
Okay, her baby. And we should all say a wonderful blessing to Ram Prabhu. Only 5 months and
almost 6.
he's 10 days short of being 6 months old. 8/24/24. Right?